Hi everybody, Gabrielle here. I am back. I'm here tonight to do the Matrix Trilogy discussion and the Neo slash One Paradigm conversation. And I pulled out the Starman deck and the Wonderland Tarot deck. We're going to wait a few minutes to see who joins us, and away we go. Yeah, I haven't shuffled anything, but I pulled some cards out to see what's going to happen. And get myself together and see if we have anyone who is willing and able to dive into this with us this evening. We shall see. Hi, whoever just came in. Appreciate it. Oh, snap. Let's see. Who is this? Came in and immediately hit the like button. One of my day ones. Let's see. So, I'm sure when you clicked on the live, you saw what we were discussing, and I hope that is up to your par and liking, because I have been binging these movies, re-immersing myself in the content, really blown away. Watched The Matrix Reloaded today, and Revolutions, but Reloaded reminded me of after the crucifixion, when Christ went down and had to get the keys, remember, to free the souls, but still had the battle down there. I was like, oh man, this shit's getting deep. It's getting real deep. You're not gonna say hi? Like, who is that? But anyway. Hey. Hey, Nancy. Hey, Fee. She is all up on me tonight. We'll see. Where you going, honey? You gotta give me some space to do this. I guess what I'm gonna do, besides just talk freely about what I think had happened. Hey, Janidra. I thought that was you. I'm gonna pull cards and see what they have to say about what we're supposed to gather okay, from each one of these downloads, because that's exactly what it was. I mean, even going back to the first one, looking at how once Neo became unplugged, and then they started to explain the construct of the Matrix and the different programs of it all, right? And then they plug them in to their version, and they start giving him all these programs, and he's like, holy shit, I know Kung Fu. And then Morpheus comes in and goes, prove it, right? We all get these downloads. It's like, damn, how do I know how to do this? How do I know how? I mean, it was deep. I mean, I know that's how I get my information. That shit just comes to me like a lightning bolt. Beefy, you're being so cute right now. Excuse me. I'm getting my mind right. I'm setting my mood. And how each one of, I know I touched on this on one of the dailies, but I don't like to assume people watch everything. And how each one of those characters represents a phase in the ascension process, a phase in the journey, how we get to different roads and we question, and each time, there's a blueprint, but we all don't have access to it, but we know it's a greater purpose. Even the machines kept saying it. They were hinting to, this happening again, these anomalies. And it's like when we look back through human history and we come across the age-old argument of, which civilization, which religion came first. It's like, oh, we look through history and we see, oh, well, there were others who came before Jesus who did similar things or who did the same thing. But if you look at it in the parallel of what the Matrix was trying to show you, is that yeah, this does happen. Like, there is this sort of consciousness that breaks through to try to offset and reset the balance of life and humanity. It's the eradication of bread and circus is really what it is. It comes down to that shit. And then look, y'all do know the new one's coming out in 2021, right? Okay, and the reason why it's taking this long is because the woman, the sister who actually these wrote the books, who wrote it all, who got the download, had been in court fighting for her just due this whole time. And so it wasn't even possible to get to the next movie because of it, because they was all tied up. And now, because of it, now we get the fourth message, and I'm so excited about what it could possibly be. All right, and now that I've gotten my mind right, we're gonna get into this. All right. So keeping with the theme, what are the primary messages that we're supposed to pull from the very first movie? I know how this sounds, y'all, but you know what? It's that deep. And I just don't want to keep giving my own opinion on things. I know what it was resonating to me, but I want to make sure I like to check with source. And even through the course of the movie, right? The movies as they evolve and you get closer and closer to the architect figure, and hearing him speak is in a lot of ways is very it is rational. It's complete mathematical balance. And so when we're dealing in essence with the God of the Old Testament, right, so to speak, you run into this harshness, this this equals this at all times. If I say X, then you must do Y. It's very black and white. And then you have the introduction in the movies. She's called the Oracle, right? But Oracle is another name for wisdom, right? And who is the Holy Spirit? What is the one name they allow the Holy Spirit to remain under in the Bible? Wisdom. And so there is, and again, through the movies, they're like, well, if he's the father, then she's the mother. Exactly. You have wisdom, and then intuition, wisdom, all of that. And then you have the mathematic equations, the absolute balance. And it's like the two extremes, but between the two extremes you have infinite variables. It was like, oh shit. But each one of those characters, like I said, as a prototype, is a stage in our own personal journey. And I was thinking, I was like, wow, if anyone wants to see what real twin flame journeys look like, look at Neo and Trinity, look at Niobe and Morpheus, Link and his spouse. And through those trilogies, you see some incredible parallels to what the true journey looks like when people accept the fact that they have purpose. They accept the fact that there is something greater than themselves they must do, but they also accept the fact that they are stronger together in some capacity. The bond of love supersedes all rational expectations. It just does. And so it's like, wow. You want to see what the healthy relationships look like, the dysfunctional relationships look like. Look at Niobe and Morpheus. She was with Morpheus, right? And then somehow or another she ended up with the other commander. What was his name? Lucas or whatever the fuck his name was. Yeah. But by the end, you know, she had found her way back. She had consulted the oracle. She had went to find higher wisdom. You know what I mean? So we're, even though you may seem like you off the journey, you off course, but you really haven't stepped off of it. That's what I found the most incredible about it. I was like, oh my gosh, this shit's mind-blowing. Right. And even in Reloaded, when he has to deal with the Mayor Da Vinci, right? That's Hades. You don't remember the wife, her name was Persephone? He controlled the underworld. Oh man, that shit was deep. Now y'all really just hold on. Facts. My weekend's been really good, actually. Um, I've been taking it easy. I've been just recovering, allowing my body to heal and rest. Really, I spent all day on the couch, and I took a quick ride to pick up my daughter and go get her a new winter coat. That's about it. But chilling, work tomorrow, enjoying it. Ooh, yours turned upside down quick. Oh shit. Holy Spirit, what messages are we supposed to pull from the first Matrix movie? What other messages are we supposed to find within this movie? Oh shit. Two more shuffles, Holy Spirit. One, two. Seven of Swords. The Wheel. Ooh, I like where this is going. The World. I really like where this is going. Four of Pentacles. Three of Cups. Nine of Pentacles. The Chariot. King of Pentacles. Four of Wands. Woo! Ace of Pentacles. Sacred Clown. Oh my gosh, y'all. And the bottom deck is the Sun. That's perfect. So, in our discussion of the Matrix and the whole Neo / the One paradigm, right? That's perfect. Ace of Pentacles, Fool or Sacred Clown. Hey, Ray. Yeah, I thought the Starman would be pertinent myself, Nancy. I did. For this particular type of reading. So it was. It was supposed to open your mind. With the Ace of Pentacles and the Sacred Clown. That's what I see with that. I see... Picked up a smoky quartz piece. Isn't that nice? Wow. I thought those movies came out to help trigger the ascension for a lot of people, to plant the seed for a lot of people. And looking at the Ace of Pentacles and the Sacred Clown, that's the same sort of, okay, all right. To help save people from all of the traps that have been laid out around them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See the flame shooting out of his finger? It's that power. It's to reclaim the power. It was to show you that within each person you are capable of magnificent things. That each person that seeks... That was another thing that I saw through the course of the movie. Especially when that one kid that Neo freed, the young guy. And then you see this young kid who was all like, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. But the one commander was like, kid, you know, you supposed to be 18 for this service, but you know, 16 is too young. And the commander tells him, he goes, oh, because the kid said, the machines will kill you no matter what age you are, it doesn't matter. And the commander goes, I agree. So he allows him to sign up because he understood that, you know, this is a spiritual war. That in warfare there is no such thing as a fairness. That the enemy doesn't operate by the same rules of engagement, the same moral code that you do, and so there's no point in holding yourself to such a thing. If you have an able body and they're willing, and it's like they feel that call and they're responding to it, who are you to deny them because of age, right? Right. I don't know why there's a glare. Give me a half a second. See if I can make that a little better. Nope, didn't help. Oh well. I'm looking at the course that teach how to control the power within. For a lot, it was to show also the activation of the Kundalini energy, what that experience was going to feel like. Mm, 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 mm. You know what I also pulled from the movie? Remember how Neo, right? Mr. Anderson, right? By day, he was this schmo. He went to this boring ass job, punched the clock. You know, he got by. He was under the radar. But by night, he was this prolific online, like, dark web super hacker guy that everyone knew about. But, you know, by day, he literally chose to maintain such a meek and mundane exterior. How many people choose that path every day? How many of us go to work, punch a clock, do what we need to do to get by, to make ends meet? You know, you follow the system, the status quo of what everyone tells you should be doing. But the whole daggone time, there's something within you calling out to you, telling you you should be doing more. There has to be more to it. There has to be something bigger to it than this. I know I personally had that sensation most of my life until I started to respond to the spiritual path. Nothing was satisfactory. Nothing. This was satisfactory. Beginning to answer the questions that had been plaguing me. I'm sure many of you go through this. That's what that was supposed to show you. That many people are going through that. Deal with that. But at the same time, there's this nagging thing in the back of their mind they just can't shake. It was reconnecting folks with their choices. Reconnecting people with free will. Even through the movies, you see how even the programs, they end up having a level of free will and choice, right? Right. Man, this top line is so fantastic. It's so heavy. It's like it was supposed to identify the lie, to stop the bullshit in real time, to stop the spin, to give people a chance to try again on their own terms, to be reborn the right way. You do see the similarities, right? See how she's rising through the ground in the ace, excuse me, the world card, and look at the Ace of Pentacles, the incubation, right? The movie was there to show you all the energy vampires, all the psychic vampires around you, draining you of your life force, using you for your precious energy. It was to also help you to identify some very interesting questions that you may have been plagued with. That's a lot. That's like reincarnation, death and birth cycle, communication with source, um, cosmic downloads. That movie was there to answer every anomaly. Like seriously, every question that popped in your head. To show you how you can be born of the flesh and still be made of something so much more. Destined for something so much more. But it was there to end the lie. To even reveal all the it's like all of these dangerous objects that had a misguided value placed on them. Ah, look at that shit in the terrarium. A misguided value placed on them, these dangerous objects. Wow. Check in. JC Alexander, peace. How are you? Yeah, she was choice. She was love. Also, that room for wonder. That movie also gave you a realistic explanation. Hold on, y'all. Sorry. Are you gonna throw up again? Or are you done? Sorry. That happens. You have pets, and you know, every so often, they earl. Sorry. Sanitizer. Okay. Mercury. Yes, she did represent choice. But she also was just simply the balance. She was more than just choice. She, it's like, because the architect, the masculine energy, right? Let's break it down this way. The masculine energy was the rule of law, right? Everything had a logical order and placement. It had a rhyme or reason. If it didn't have a purpose, it had to go. Period, point blank. Again, I draw your attention back to the Old Testament and how it was written, and how the early Israelites were instructed to rid themselves of all of their enemies, their livestock, their children, the women. Everybody had to go. And even though the Israelites were like, wait a minute, I don't think I can do that. They was told what to do, and they were even given an explanation that they was going to be a thorn in their side later if they didn't listen. And that's exactly what happened. And so it was a reason for the obliteration. You ain't gotta make sense, but to beings much more knowledgeable and wise than ourselves, I get why it makes sense to them on that level. But to someone who was full of love and compassion and made of flesh, it's a hard task to carry out, especially children and animals. It's like, you might be okay as a warrior knocking off the men and the women, but the kids and the animals, you're like, but they didn't do nothing. But they'll remember what you did to their family, and they'll come back for vengeance. So, you know what I mean? Thorn in your side type shit. But that was the masculine energy and what it represents, right? But the feminine energy, softer, more reflective, nurturing, right? Not saying the masculine isn't nurturing, just in a different way, in a completely different way. But she allowed for everything else. She deserves so much more credit than that, because she brought in the high priestess energy. It's funny, right? Because we have the sacred clown out here, but we don't see the high priestess. But that's exactly who she would be. In essence, Neo, and anyone falling into that blueprint, finds himself in the position of the sacred clown. Because he was given the choice, right? A pill. Red pill or blue pill, right? So he leaped off with the knowledge. That leap of faith was not blind. It was not ignorant. It was explained to him as best as it could be. He was shown as best as he could without him fully investing everything, fully dying of the flesh. Do y'all do realize that, right? That the first movie shows how we all must die to the flesh in order to ascend. It's real simple. It's like when Agent Smith was like, I killed you, I watched you die, and then something else happened, and somehow it's like what happened in Harry Potter, where, the sacrifice of love, a little bit of this went that way, and you could not kill one without killing the other. Same sort of thing, same parallel. And so Agent Smith became Neo's dark side, his shadow, the ultimate counter, the yin to his yang. And you do see in the third one that he has an ultimate showdown with his shadow. You stop running from it. You stop hiding from it. You fight that motherfucker. You got to just stand up and battle it. You cannot keep running from yourself. That's all you're doing. That's all he was doing through the course of the movie, running from the darkest, shadiest, grimiest, low down, diabolical version of himself. Through all three movies. It kept evolving. As he evolved, so did Agent Smith. Isn't that amazing? How you think you got to the root of your shadow, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I got a hell of a lot more work to do. Right. Right. Interesting. It was also, looking at the second line, right, showing you how the divine masculine and the divine feminine had been split. Split, but showing you how they actually work together out of some grand design. That everything that Neo was supposed to do and to accomplish in some way, shape, or form, they were working together. Maybe not in unison, in harmony, but everybody has their purpose. She had her purpose, he had his purpose, talking about the architect and the oracle. But at the end of the day, it was all to get to this, to this Ace of Pentacles sitting up here, to the rebirth, the ascension, to save humanity, right? That was the whole point, to save Zion, right? To allow people who didn't want to buy in to the matrix to be able to leave freely. Them to be able to accept the truth, the way, the truth. Right? They couldn't just unplug them. They had to give them a choice. The choice is yours. Do you accept the truth? Do you accept the way? Oh, it's deep. It's deep. It was real deep. Like, ooh. Wow. To show you that the whole time, it really is all within you. You have access. You see the DNA all over this card? You have access to the Akashic Records. You have access to Source. You do. If you so choose to. Again, each one of those characters, in essence, is when a level in which someone got stuck, where their faith wasn't enough, where it was too difficult for them to believe that they were the one. The interesting part, right? Who do you think Morpheus's character is? Do you think he's actually a divine masculine or a divine feminine? Because I'll tell you what I think in a minute. Let's see what y'all think. Do you think Morpheus was a masculine or a feminine? I don't care about the gender. That's easy. Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh, Fifi. Sorry. Having tripod issues. Maybe that'll do now. Oh, thank you, Brenda. I get my intelligence from Source, honey. I do. I do. I can't take no credit for it. I give credit to my mom and my dad, both biologically and spiritually. It has nothing to do with me. I was created. I didn't create me, so I can't, I can't do nothing about it. Oh yes, the tripod. I have another one, but anyway, I was trying to use less space on the table, so using the tripod. But anyway, who do y'all think Morpheus is? Do you think he is a divine masculine or a divine feminine? I personally think he's a divine feminine. I do. The way he came across to me through that movie, through all the movies. I don't care how much ass kicking he did. He was not the masculine energy in his relationship connection. He was the feminine. Niobe was the masculine. But hey, just saying. Do y'all agree with that or not? Interesting. Jar of Sacred Hearts, please elaborate. Why do you think that? Yeah. And it's funny, it only hit me today that he was the feminine energy in his connection. And Neo was definitely the masculine in his. If you better go back, child. mm, sorry, me and Phoebe going through it sometimes. Ooh, to celebrate that union. Ooh, it was. Oh my God. Okay, so how this middle line reads to me, it was to show you the purpose of unity, of the masculine and feminine coming together, of the greater purpose of that uh, union. I'm sorry, I can't think of another word. And the need for the collaboration of that union, right? But also the singular divine purpose that they each were here to do and fulfill. And also to keep each other on the path. As strange as it may seem, through the movies over and over again, as the bonds deepened between the characters, especially in the love connections, right? You heard over and over again the willingness to sacrifice themselves for the other. Overwhelmingly, you kept hearing it and hearing it. It's like we all say that, but a sacrifice that great to make sure someone stays on point, on task, because what they're here to achieve is bigger than even the love that you personally have. As a matter of fact, you love them so much you are willing to give it literally all, even the physical form. But as we watched and as we learned, love transcends death. And mm, it just does. I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah, it did explain to you where ghosts and shit come from. Remember it was saying how but this is in the later ones, that they are programs who chose not to follow their directive. Like if you die, right, you supposed to recycle, go to a specific place, but if you're stubborn and you go, nah, I ain't ready to go yet, right? You end up being like an echo of your former self, an apparition, so to speak. The aim was to explain a lot of things to people in this realm. It was also to explain in a strange way what divine paternal love feels like and what it really is, and what the hand of God, when it works in your favor and when there's divine intervention, see the hands back there, what it really is, not what you want it to be. It's deep. Man, excuse me. It's going to peek on some comments. Okay, Jar of Sacred Hearts, thank you. Nikki with this 259 me. Interesting. Jar of Sacred Hearts, have you ever heard the parallel between Christ and the Archangel Michael? That's why I thought it was interesting that you named Michael. I thought maybe you would get more of that with the Neo reference, but yeah. There's well, there's just a parallel. I don't know the whole history of the story offhand, but a lot of folks believe, and it is in the scriptures. I will say that they pull it somewhere from scripture. I will find it myself at a later date, but you can look for yourself if you wish. Um, but yeah, maybe it's one of the translations of the different names that Christ had, but somehow, some way, there's a parallel to Christ actually being the Archangel Michael. I'm not saying I necessarily believe that, but I've heard that. But to be determined. Wow. It was to help bring a lot of people into union, to help with the twin flame union. I kid you not. Look at this. Chariot, King of Pentacles, right? Four of Wands. Wow. It was the download. When did the... Okay, I have to do some more research because now I'm really curious. Like, I've only heard about the twin flame journey for about 3 years. Like the actual term twin flame, right? We ain't really talking about soulmates because I've known about that shit my whole life. I've been literally telepathically talking to my twin my whole life. Didn't know it, but I was. Um, anyway, anybody else experience that shit? Because like when you realize it, it's like, oh, so I know which ones was my guides, and I know around the age where your brain chemicals start shifting to romantic ideas. Let's just put it that way. That was when I made the connection. But even before that, a little bit before that, I remember having all sorts of conversations, and it's like right when I really started getting into music. Anyway, that's a whole different rabbit hole. But yeah, my whole life from like the age of 11, 12, somewhere in there. Yeah, you sent me that before that text. Oh, I get that. I totally believe that Neo resonates with the true high vibrational divine masculine blueprint. For sure, Jar, I do. That's not what I was saying. I'm just saying in how I perceive the information, especially once you get to the second, and the reason, okay, and here's the reason why I still stick with the fact that Neo and the Christ consciousness is a synonymous factor. Even Trinity, because we can get into Mary Magdalene and her purpose and who she truly was, and she wasn't no hoe. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't. That's a hell of a lie, but that's not who she was. And there's a reason why Trinity is Trinity. I guess this is what we're here to do. the church itself and the Trinity, right? We have the divine masculine, divine feminine, Holy Mother, Holy Father, right? Replicated here on earth. Ain't nobody gonna tell me Christ spent 33 years on planet Earth and did not lay with a woman, did not have a spouse. I just don't find that practical and nor reasonable, especially when it was not the precedent of the era. I just don't see that happening. And so I still, again, Neo, parallel to Christ consciousness, because again, he had to die to the flesh. He had to go through a transfiguration, a transmutation. You saw it at the end of the first one, and the way the second one begins. Like, nah, he goes through a real activation, a DNA cellular upgrade. He changes his body, his physical body, his spiritual body, his etheric body. It keeps changing through the whole series. He gets more and more profound each time he gets jacked in to the matrix, back into it. It's him going into deep states of meditation. Each time you attempt to connect to source, you clear your chakras and you begin to resonate and you climb. That's what that shit is. It's how you get the downloads. You have to meditate. You have to spend time in quiet space. Just saying. Oh yeah, funny. I think I missed something, sorry. Who's blonde? Wait, I missed something. I'm like, wait, what? Welcome back, girl. Y'all phony. Yeah, the first one was the beginning of the twin flame journey. That was like, I really, that's what this reads to me. Chariot, King of Pentacles, Four of Wands, in the context of this spread, of this reading. Yeah, that information. We had some grandmasters ascending at that time. How my girls say, riding the Merkaba. Yeah, it was a trigger. It really was. Think about how impactful it was. The first time you saw the Matrix, you were just like blown away. I don't care who you were and what you were doing. That shit hit home. You was like, holy crap. After you got past all the CGI and the animation, it was kind of like, okay, I just saw something mind blowing. That was important. And I think the reason why the Neo, the one aspect, resonates so deeply, because again, the seed, the spark is within us all. We can choose to ascend, or we can stay, or we can choose to stay down here in the 3D, dealing with the agents, dealing with, I hate to say it, with mere mortals, right? And I don't say that like I don't have, like I'm not flesh and blood and capable of passing, because I am. We're all like that. But it's the choice to ascend, the choice to supercharge your spiritual body and knowledge. You know, there are many stories where people just be gone. Never died, just gone. That's true ascendance. Wow. Yeah. But it was also the awakening of the energies within. You know what I mean? It's like, I was talking to someone the other day, and she mentioned that she thought, as a possibility, that the number was double the 144 and only was reduced down to 144 when the twins came into union. And I simply disagreed with that because I'm like, no, I don't believe that's how that works. Even if two souls were split, that's no. We all, it's the yin and yang. We all contain one within the other, so there's no need for such a thing. If there are couples within the oh gosh, why is my mind blanking on this? In the selection process, then that's by divine order. Then that's how it's supposed to be. And I say that's how it's supposed to be because, again, from the beginning, masculine and feminine energy present from the beginning. You cannot have one without the other. It is just a divine balance. So in flesh, and since we put away the old ways of population and we don't deal in the filth of incest, we're not doing families. We're doing couples capable of procreation and keeping the species going. I gotta think about that. It's possible. It's very possible, Jar. Yeah. Don't y'all believe for a second that Jesus spent 33 years down here without a wife. Do you understand me? The King of Kings had a wife. Do you see how swollen the belly is here? Just telling you. Just telling you. Some simple truths. That creates the Holy Trinity. Remember that. Oh, it's deep. It's deep. It's deep. Hold on. Hold on. Holy Spirit. Oh. Oh, he's just dropping. Wow. Repeating cards. Full Empress World, 9 of Swords, 5 of Wands. Huh. Feel like somebody's spirit guides, right, have been nudging you with this information. Wow. Hey, BJ. Holy shit, honey. How are you? Correct, Mystic's Corner. The information, I'm looking at the cyclical nature of what we experience. Oh, boy. To trust in the whole process of the ascension. Wow. So we got a newcomer. Good, great to hear, BJ. No, we were just going over the Matrix and what we were supposed to pull from the first movie. For some of you, right, you've been stressing what it is you're supposed to do. You jumped off. You're like, okay, you've explored your shadow. All right, you went down deep. You've been diving. All right, to get to this divine feminine step, right? To this plateau. But it's like it's the what's next aspect of it. Restless about what's coming next. Who is this for? Who's restless? Oh, you just straight up tired of waiting and holding back. I don't know who this is for. I'm gonna Oh my God. Okay, we're not doing that tonight. We're not doing that. I just started here. Someday my what is it? One day my lover come along and he'll be big and strong. The man I love. Listen, we're not doing love tonight. Okay, we're not doing that. Take love off the brain. No Rihanna tonight. Sounds like you. Uh-huh. Yeah, we're not doing that. Oh my gosh. When is he coming? That ain't for me to answer right now. That feels right. That feels right. Okay. Let's see. Higher self retaining. It's not about holding back. It's a repetitive question about when's my man going to arrive. And honey, I can't tell you when he going to arrive. Only I can tell you is that when he grow up, he'll get there. And it ain't for me to decide when he ain't wet behind the ears no more. Ooh, I like this. Okay. Yeah, back on track. Back on track. High Priestess, Four of Cups, Five of Swords, Ace of Wands, Justice, Page of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, Six of Pentacles. To seek beyond the good time. Searching for the meaning. I don't want to say the meaning of life, but the purpose. The purpose is love. We all know that. But it's not romantic love. I hate to say that. That's a bonus. It is. That's something you get to experience, but it's a bonus. The question was, why were you bored with it anyway? Oh man, I got like movies running through my head tonight right now. So I started hearing that scene from Interview with the Vampire when he was like, "What if I could give it all back? What if I could pluck out the pain? What did he say? The wine has no taste, the music has no meaning." Right. That's how we all got here. When shit just got unsatisfactory, right? Where you were just bored with it all. You went looking behind the veil because everything in front of you wasn't wasn't cutting it anymore. Huh. The call. Look, don't dolphins use like ultrasonic sounds and shit? You gotta have like supersonic hearing to hear that, don't you? To sense that, to feel the emotional pull, that deep within this cold, barren wasteland of a planet, that there had to be something warm and vibrant in the midst of it. Looking at the dolphin again, a warm-blooded animal that lives in a cold environment. To get you to start asking why again. To get you to cut through the bullshit. Stop trying to fake it. To help you grow into being your authentic self. I'm looking at the Five of Swords, right? And you see all the roses and shit, they drained of life. But there's a bucket of paint back there and a paintbrush. Like somebody was gonna keep trying to play. Keep trying to pretend. Keep playing like everything's good, everything's luscious, and you know, it's loving. Nah. Nah. It was to show you that love is a verb. That seems to be a theme, right? Corinthians love. Me, I was doing it today. I what I did the last 24 hours. I watched all three movies. They're profound. They really are. The fourth one's coming out in 2021. I'm excited. Excuse me. You know, and it was a complete opposite for me. That's so. Oh no, I won't say that. I won't say that. I had church first though. I will say that. A lot of church. A lot of religion. Not even just church. A lot of religion. Then I found my spirituality. It's interesting, right? I believe that. I know a lot of people, who it doesn't matter. Long as you're searching, long as you're seeking, and that's the point. That's what I'm looking at right here. As long as you're searching and seeking, that's what it's about. Not being content with nothing. Meaning not knowing your purpose, not seeking your purpose, not wanting to know from your creators. Why am I here? What did you send me here to do? Sometimes you will not be confident in what it is you're supposed to do. And there's people around you who know what you're supposed to do. And they're there to pump you up and guide you and cheer you on. Morpheus, if nothing else, was a guide. If nothing else, he was a guide for Neo. And ironically, so was Trinity. Even though that was his counterpart, she too was a guide. Because they knew just enough and knew a lot less to keep it fair. Right? Right. Because just like Christ, the oracle spoke in parables, right? But she explained it as not you can't see beyond a choice you don't comprehend. So some shit do come out cryptic, right? Not intentionally, but it does. It was to help you find that spark once again. To help you try to reestablish the order and balance within your life, but in a very cosmic way. For some to show you, remember how I brought up the young guy in the movie, the one Neo saved, the young kid? For some to show you that even the smallest among us offer the most. The youngest among us offer the most. Out of the mouths of babes, right? Right next to this justice card. Remember in the movie? The one little boy was like, there is no spoon. He was like, how are you doing that? He was like, there is no spoon. Pay attention, because messages come from all sources. Sometimes the smallest and most simplest things offer the most profound impact. But more than anything, the cyclical nature of cosmic order, because of cause and effect, and the necessity of true balance and harmony. Mm. Wow. That's dope. Okay. Decisive action, right? Queen of Wands to me, that's that go-getter, right? That's that boss. But it's like you utilizing that for yourself, that energy, that confidence, that knowing. High Priestess is here, Queen of Wands is here, that knowing that you have the capacity to transform anything. That you have the capacity to not just transform, but spiritually evolve and grow. Oh, okay, okay. So what I'm getting in a nutshell is, damn, it's so simple, but it's like, just understanding why the devil exists, right? Why the negativity is there. it just brings, it's just a restorative balance. That is so fucked up. For my shabby human self, as I sit here right now, that is so messed up. It just is. Look at this shit. That's why I kept saying all week, like, I get it. I get why they kept pounding it into me. Oh, man, because, like, I kept saying, what came first, right? The light or the dark, right? You see how the mushroom, right? She's holding a piece in each hand, but it's just a segment from each side. It's the same shit. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. I know, right? I know. But you got to think cosmically and not religiously. We have a concept of what the devil is. I want you to kind of just shit on that for a second. I want you to just think in terms of positives and negatives, lights and darks. You know what I mean? Like, real simple. Yins and yangs, masculine and feminine. It just has to. And it has to be the equal measure in opposite form. It just has to be. And that is the reason why it is one and the same. It's a coin. It is just the natural balance. And we, because we seek purpose and we seek a greater meaning and we just seek, we seek as we should, we must know. And sometimes we can convolute the simplest things because we don't like how it rings. We don't want to accept it because no, that doesn't make sense. Wham, wham, wham. I get it. You hear me saying my shabby self, right? I don't like that because again, when you come from a religious space instead of a strictly spiritual space, it can get aggravating. And I'm telling you, I feel the internal fight kicking up right now. And I'm going to do my best to put away that version of myself and allow for this to set in. Because we're all growing together. And boy, oh boy, it is not an easy thing to do when your whole life you've been taught one thing, very effectively, might I add, and then, you begin the journey of untying those knots that keep you bound. Woo! Sheesh. Sheesh. Alright. Holy Spirits. Holy Spirit. What else can we learn? Can you tell us from the second one? Reload it. What can we learn about the Keymaster? Mayor Da Vinci. Persephone. Even the Ghost Twins. What can we learn from the reloaded version? Thank you. 2 more. I'm about to check the comments. Hold on. 7 of Cups. Choice. Bingo. Bingo, Mystic's Corner. Yes. Now, I do know a lot of y'all actual names, but I don't want to air y'all out like that, because I think that's why we all use code names, so. But I have to stop myself. My guys keep reminding me. This is beautiful. So, repeating cards. Interesting. So, from the second one, we drew Queen of Cups and the Prince of Pentacles for the overall energy. We drew 7 of Cups, Three of Swords, the Empress. Nine of Cups, Princess of Cups, the Wheel, Four of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, and the Sun. I like that. Mm, mm, mm. Building faith. The second one was really for the people around him. No, Mika, I missed that. I think I saw mobile, but I didn't equate it to limbo and then the limbic system. Oh, child, blessings to you for that one. Oh, that's deep right there. Limbic system. That'll come back to me. I know about the limbic system. Mm, mm, mm. I'm sorry, I'm staring at the Queen of Cups because I'm looking at it like to show you who's really behind the scenes. But it's like, who's the man with the master plan? Look how here, right? Remember how Trinity was supposed to die, right? Was supposed to die. But he decided over his dead body, was he about to let his girl die, right? And even though the architect just knew he was going to do what everybody else had done, which was go ahead and choose humanity over love. Now, we all know love conquers all, right? So, he was like, no, I'm going to go choose the love of my life because I don't see anybody else, like, really checking for me the way this one is. So, I'm going to go over here because I think I can do both. He allowed the capacity of his own heart to swell, right? His capacity for love, it blew up. He surprised himself on his own decision, right? Don't we all surprise ourselves every day in our decisions and what we do in the name of love? How many times have you put your foot down to something? How many times have you gone against your rational mind for the name of love, for the sake of love? How many times? A lot, I would think. You'd be like, oh, everyone's counting on me. Yeah, I get you, right? But who's counting on you that actually has been in your corner? Ah, where there is a will, there is a way. It's another thing. I watched that man fly. Now, like, I don't know. I know I wouldn't step off no roof like, that's not my belief system. It's just not. Although I do believe we are capable of anything. But I believe like if you started out from a young age and you kept telling yourself you could fly, I bet you one day you could. But airplanes are fine by me. But my point is, and bringing that up, where there's a will, there's a way. He needed to be someplace, so he was there. How many times have you created time and space and accomplish what you considered the impossible. Just saying. To make the connection between the two. Yeah. It's the same message. Love transcends. Remember how in the second one, when he finally got to see the Mayor Da Vinci, right? And the chick who plays character Persephone, the one in all the latex and shit, and she asks Neo to kiss her the way he kissed Trinity, make her feel the love that they share, right? Because that was really lacking in her relationship. She just watched her husband lace a chocolate cake and send it to a woman to make her have an orgasm, a spontaneous orgasm. He could have given his own wife that cake, but nah, he'd rather look at this chick, waste his energy over there. And so out of vengeance, right, she decided to help them, but not to the point to where it would really hurt them, like her and her husband's situation, but enough to exact vengeance, right, to let them know that, yeah, she was watching and she don't appreciate that shit. Just saying. Her envy and jealousy for the connection that they shared. And you heard what she said, right? She says something that beautiful isn't meant to last. And as I say that, I'm looking at the room count, right? Thank you. 11 thumbs up and 11 viewers. But that's the twin flame connection, right? Something that beautiful isn't meant to last. Just saying. That's why we always have to keep reminding ourselves that union is not the name of the game. You're catalysts. You're like drivers for one another. You're a plug-in. You're supposed to help keep each other on task and on purpose by hook or by crook. You know? That's the point. Inspire. Guide. You remember when they finally got back to Zion and they were all over each other, right? They couldn't keep their hands off each other. The elevator door opened and there were hundreds of people waiting there, needing help, needing needing Neo's help. She goes, this can wait, right? He goes, no, she goes, they need you. Then he goes, I need you. She goes, there's time. Remember that, there's time. We're not dealing with our concept of time. And after he helped all those people he needed to help and heard what he needed to hear from them, then he had some free time. And it wasn't even like right away. It was much later. Like they had to sneak away, steal a moment. Isn't that what it's like with your twin? Having a still little moments. But there's priorities. You have to prioritize your main purpose. Your relationship, if you're both living in your purpose, will come together naturally. I won't say smoothly 100%, but it won't be. No, I can't even say that because I just thought about Morpheus and Niobe and how they had a third party situation in their connection, right? She ended up, for whatever reason, with the other guy. And slowly but surely through the course of the movie, you could see her starting to fall back in love with Morpheus. I don't think she ever fell out of love with him. I think it just wasn't the right time. But things tend to work themselves out when they're supposed to be. But the second one was really about the feminine energies in the trilogy, getting the updates and upgrades to their purpose, responding to the call of their journey. It's a slower, steadier progression, but it is the same. Listening for their triggers, listening for their cues on when they're supposed to act, when they're supposed to step in. Right. He divinely guided. Mystic's Corner, what did you always see as an astral projection? Good point, ZZ. Agreed. Oh, okay. Wow. It's like, it is. It's a constant reminder of your choices, of your free will. And for some, it was, excuse me. It's the choice to live in that constant state of fear, or to allow yourself to break through the barrier of it and to be reborn, renewed, to grow from it. Wow, that's deep. Choosing the path of suffering. Whoa. But that is. It is a choice. You could take the easy way. You could stay plugged in. You could stay sedated in the matrix. You could. Or you can choose the hard path. The hard path of ascension. Wow. You see how in the Seven of Cups, right, he's holding the world. It's like, yeah, you could choose the world, right? I wouldn't recommend that. Or you can choose love. But I do, it's funny because I'm seeing this, it is self-love. But again, it goes back to the yin and the yang. It's, oh wow, I shuffled the cards with the Alice in Wonderland deck, and I just peeped. The bottom of that deck is the King of Cups, right? Top card here, Queen of Cups. Choosing yourself is choosing your counterpart. You know what I mean? It's the yin and the yang. Yeah. Showing you that choosing the path that's going to make you and bring you the most happiness. Nine of Cups. Princess of Cups, right? It's 10 cups. Taking control. I'm looking at the wheel, and it's like claiming your own destiny, claiming, what did I just say? What word? That's not a word. Claiming your personal power in your own destiny. Wow. Yeah, allowing the vibration and frequency of love to transform you, to allow you to transcend. Oh my goodness. Fabulous. Fabulous. I gotta put some tea on. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. To rid yourself of the weight. There's the ball and chain connected to her. To free yourself of the unnecessary baggage. It really is repetitious. I'm like looking at the Four of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles Sun card. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. Your downloads. The downloads came in. Got a bunch of people on their path towards their divine happiness. You know what I mean? I'm looking at this Sun card. It's like, this is pure spiritual ascension. Wow. Wow. The path. That's why it came in. My girl from the land down under. It's like I'm... I don't know. I just saw the screen. Hi, fly. Like an eagle. I did eat. Thank you, Zizi. Wow. I would love some feedback from you on this subject, Fly. I know you've gotten these downloads. You get all of this shit. I really do believe that's why it was such a rush to get all this information out in '99. Like, they knew what was getting ready to happen. They knew. And when I say that they knew, I'm talking about like the Galactic Council and all those entities well beyond our reach. I know when they talk to us, okay? They all talk to us. That's wild. Spirit, is there anything else that we haven't covered? Oh, and so in the third one, right, in Revolutions, I saw that as like the end times, right? Like in Revelations, the war, the Great War, like when all the Sentinels got through the Zion, and it was like the falling against. Oh man, it was huge. Ah, okay, gotcha, gotcha. No, we're just talking about the Matrix in general, and the information, the trilogy as a whole, and the Neo One paradigm, and just how it resonated with so many people on a global scale, and some of the basic, I don't want to say basic, but the downloads that came through for so many people. The way it just was so impactful. Just so impactful. But yeah, I definitely saw the third one as Revelations playing out. It was wild. And just when you think it's over, it's like, no, 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 there's still the spiritual battle happening. You know, there's a battle here on the earth, and there's a battle happening in the heavens. And at the end of the third one, when he has to pierce the canopy of the electrical skies, because they blacked out the sun. They couldn't, there was so much clouds and EMFs floating around. The sunlight had no way of piercing it. And so he took the ship all the way up, or Trinity did because she was driving, all the way up through the canopy and breached. And it was the first time she saw the sunlight. She saw the light. She finally saw the light herself. Even though he was blinded, right? And he was like, it's so beautiful. Everything's lit up. He could see it because he was using his third eye. He was using his metaphysical eyes at that point. You know, sometimes, not even sometimes, you see a lot with the two eyes, but you see even more. It's almost like he was seeing the way bats see, like almost echolocation, but bigger. It's like if it had a natural light source within it, he was able to see that. It actually reminded me a lot of The Shining, and how they would talk about people who shine. You could just see that little shine on them. They just gleamed a little different. Neo was able to see that with his third eye after he'd been blinded very easily. All those things that had that little shine and gleam to them. Very interesting shit. And then look, he ended up making a deal, right? Isn't that interesting? It's like he had to go confront Satan himself, if you will, in order to even understand his shadow self. Because that's who Agent Smith had turned into. That's what he was learning after he somehow got into the one guy who was coming back through the hard line. So he had he had possessed a physical body. So the demonic spirit somehow attained the ability to possess a physical body. Right? Right. Oh, it was deep. It was real deep what was going on. The guy named was Bane, who he actually ended up possessing in the movie. Right? Bane. Come on, y'all. Right. And so simultaneously, he's in the system. He's in the Matrix, talking about Agent Smith, able to replicate himself at will. So not only can he possess people in the 3D, but he's able to take over other weaker entities. They all supposed to work for the same side, right? But Smith grew to such a powerful entity, his own hatred, as Neo grew in strength, so did he. Makes sense, right? So he was able to make versions of himself. Became unstoppable. So Neo had to do what? He had to go to the bull, the head honcho himself, on that world of that dimension, in order to even... Right, that's exactly what it is. That's exact self-replicating environment. Exactly. Because they're programs, right? So, not even a Trojan. Seraph, to me, was operating like a Trojan. Because he was able to use all the backdoor channels. Anyway, it was a whole... And who he was. He was a convert. He was an agent from the other side, from within the Matrix that, broke protocol. He became an agent of light. As you saw his undergarments were all black and he had the white overcoat. Just saying. But they're one and the same, so what does it really matter, right? Because that's the whole thing. You learn this over and over again. Mm-hmm. Wait, where was I? Bane, self-replicating virus. Oh, striking a deal in order to even get Agent Smith under control. Now, if you notice during that ultimate showdown between the two of them, right, at the end of the battle, when Smith thought he had Neo beat, because he put his hand in him and he started to convert Neo into another Smith. And just when he thought that was done, what happened was, instead of fighting the fact that this is your shadow, right? Instead of trying to best your shadow, you accept it. It's like you embrace it, and by embracing it, by not resisting it, you're able to subdue it. It's the strength card. Just saying. Oh, it was deep. It's real deep. I cannot even imagine what this fourth one's going to be about. And I think Trinity's pregnant. I know she died, but she'll be back because she's on the billing for the fourth movie. So, if I'm not mistaken, there'll be a little Neo running around real soon. That's my prediction. There's no available, I haven't done much research besides check for it, but I'm going to see if there's any, what do they call those, spoilers. Hold on, y'all. My tea water's ready. Done with that. Okay. What are we learning from the third one? Ten of Cups. Ooh, Four of Wands. See? Ooh, Prince of Swords, though. Alright, the Star. The Hanged Man. Sacred Clown. Ten of Swords. Judgment. Two of Pentacles. Alright, listen. Exactly. Exactly. The will. It just keeps coming around again and again. That's what we talked about that too. That, think about Isis, Osiris, and Horus. You know what I mean? All through history, through every great civilization, you see the blueprint over and over and over again. They said that Neo was the sixth version to come through. Remember when he was in the room with the architect, and he was talking to him, and you saw on those other monitors all those different versions of Neo, right? What they were showing you were all the alternate universes and all the alternate versions of your life, honestly. And what I pulled from that was that you would be that bull or that girl in every dimension. If that was your divine purpose and task, guess what? You don't get to escape it. All you're doing is living out different variables, different choices in all of those different dimensions. That's what I pulled from that meeting between the two of them when he was telling them the lowdown, trying to get him to just go along for the get along. I was like, oh, okay. Because you saw all the different reactions. He was like, bullshit, da da da. And he started laughing and spazzing. And, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. Funny. So we pulled 10 of wands, 2 of wands. Hmm. Wow. He tried to convince him that it was all for naught, right? He did. The architect tried to, in his facts and figures, analytical way. He was like, no, this has happened. We can't figure it out. It's something within the program. It as much as they try to get rid of he's just summed it up as the natural order in the Cliff Notes version. And so it's like after Neo learned all that he had to learn, and he just knew it was going to be too much for him, and he was just going to cave to the pressure of the easy choice, right? He was going to choose the 8 women and 8 men and just go ahead and restart humanity and do the whole Zion prototype again, and they would do it again. But that's not what happened, is it? He realized he didn't have to make a either or. Neither do you. You don't have to do a either or either. In a very spiritual way, you can have your cake and eat it too. And when I say that, I mean you can live in your purpose and do what you are here to do and still have your union. And I only say that, right, because remember, everybody didn't die. Nope. Link and his lady stayed together. As I said, Morpheus and Niobe, they got back together, right? Or that's how it looked anyway. She disobeyed some pretty direct orders to go save the man she loved, so just because she wasn't physically with him, she was there. She showed up when anyway, y'all know what I'm trying to say about they damn union. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway. And I know Trinity's not actually dead. I know she's going to be part of the reboot. Because remember, the sun rose, Oracle and the Architect, and Seraph were, having a little discussion. Sati's an important person from folklore, too. Just saying. Look. Oracle, Architect, there's a little girl. See Sati? Yep. Right. Mm-hmm. Power of love. And it benefits them too. It's funny, right? Because I'm looking at the Ten of Cups. And again, I pointed out how Oracle, Architect, and the little girl Sati. And above them is this massive freaking heart. And I'm like, the actions taken by people here in the 3D, somehow, some way, that love somehow flows back to the divine. That's just what it looks like. They can feel it directly. Hold on, what y'all saying? Oh, I like that. A berry between dimensions and the 9 of Wands. In some decks, I could definitely see that. Definitely. I also, oh, alright. I also get this as I'm looking at these two here in the Four of Wands, right? As like a divine pair on earth, right? That have come into union. And I'm looking at this Page of Swords, right? And he's got this crow. And crows are very spiritual birds, but they go between worlds themselves. It's funny that you mention that. And it's like there are eyes on you here in this realm from the spiritual realm, making sure, even in the background, see the light being back there, making sure everything comes into play. See the two wands on either side. It's like the actions required from both of you. There's always something in the background. Even in the movies, you see that, right? Neo's plugged in, and his computer turns on in the first one. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, follow the white rabbit. What is that? What? And then lo and behold, a chick shows up on his doorstep with an entourage of people, and she's got a white rabbit tattoo. He's like, huh, interesting. It's the powers that be. Overwhelmingly, the series shows you that there are forces beyond your comprehension and control that are working behind the scenes to make sure you're where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Think about that. At the right time, the right place, a door opens. Someone's there with the right key. Think about the key master in his role. You saw him making a lot of keys, right? But he had one under lock and safeguard tucked on a necklace around his neck. Right? Already destined. When he died, he wasn't surprised. He was like, nah, I did my purpose. It was foretold. He knew. He knew. Everything is divinely orchestrated. It's all by some strange plan. You ain't got to understand it. You ain't got to like it. You just got to do it. But if you accept it and surrender to it, like the Ten of Wands here, surrender, Ten of Wands, right? To what it is you were called to do, it gets so much easier. It just does. Right? The minute Neo accepted it and surrendered to the process, he just took to it like a fish to water, right? Yeah, but they're always watching. Always watching. In the background. In different dimensions. They're always watching. It's like, for so many people, you were supposed to get that you are destined for greatness. Star. And it's like the only thing standing in the way of you and greatness is you understanding that you have been called, right? That you were chosen. And for a lot of folks looking at the sacred clown, right? You're not even gonna know why you know the shit you know. It's about trusting. Trusting in the process. Trusting that even though it may look dangerous, you are completely safe. Look at that. Mm. I'm looking at the dream catcher and all of this, and it's like, and technically the Matrix is almost like dream space, right? Almost like dream space. And it's like, in your dream space, there is where you confront your shadow. That is where you do the most work, dealing with your shadow side. There's where you have infinite possibilities of controlling the outcome, of slaying the ultimate demon, which lies within. This is what you must reconcile yourself to. That honestly, the devil you fight is you. And only you have the power to, like, blast that. It's like unnecessary armor. If you looked at your shadow as unnecessary armor, it would be the rustiest, most tetanus infused, raggedy piece of armor you ever put your hands on. You wouldn't even want to touch it. You would do everything you could to be like, how do we melt this down and do something better with it? Because this will just not do. Only you can free yourself from that. And all of this has to do, oh man, with heart space. With your capacity to love. With your capacity to, it's like, eradicate violence and anger and war and destruction. All of those negative seeds that are within that feed the shadow itself. You and you alone have the power to eradicate that. Yeah. That's the word they want to use. Okay. You control this balance. Only you control the balance. Wow. You figure out your shadow, your ascension's on lock. Right now, what they're showing me is you have the capacity to literally elevate your physical world. You can change your physical world if you master your shadow. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay, that was happy. I finally wanted to, like, give me something clear. Thank you. And if you don't, guess what happened? Take another ride on the wheel. Let's see. Any messages from the higher selves that need to come through pertaining to this subject before we close out this subject? Thank you. Thank you. There's your Nine of Wands. Oh. Interesting. Ooh. Wow. 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 So sorry. I don't know what is going on. It's Riri. Not the entertainer either. It's pissing me off. Oh my goodness. Good night. What, Nancy? I feel like for some, right, this is saying that even in the 3D, you need to guard yourself. You do. Don't fall for anything that's being offered to you. Now, mind you, in this Five of Pentacles, right, Alice is being pulled from her own castle. It literally says Queen Alice. It's hard to see. Hold on. She's being pulled from her own castle, from her own kingdom. And that's interesting. Because it's like, that's 6 Pentacles, right? King of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles. Guard yourself against anything that anyone's offering you that's going to bring you off your own foundation. Don't fall for any distractions. And since we were talking about possession in the context of this card, guard yourself against that sort of energy too. Careful what you're experimenting with. Yeah. Ah, that's so interesting that I'm getting that from that. Spiritual protection. There is a need for spiritual protection. I feel like somebody got the attention of somebody pretty major. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I will guide you to put on the armor of God at this point. I don't know who this is for, but if you've stepped outside the realms of divine protection and you know what you've been playing with, if you have, you might want to think about this right now. Do not accept this offer. You will be barred from your own kingdom. I don't know who the fuck. Ooh, I don't know who that's for. Oh, wow. Anyway, wow. I feel like there's an invitation that someone has received and you are very suspicious of it. You have every right to be suspicious of it. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. If your spidey senses went up, they went up for a good reason. Do not accept this offer. It's going to cost you everything. Everything. Wow. Okay. 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 Boys and girls, do we have any questions pertaining to the subject at hand? Anybody want me to pull any cards on the subject at hand? You got any questions for the, Galactic Council before we wrap this up? No? No? All right. Well, I love y'all. I hope you have a great evening. Thank you for your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. Yeah, it's cool. It's a tough subject. No, I don't want to say tough. It's a heavy subject. It's a lot of information. And even to me, it got repetitious. Okay. That's a fair one. Can you find out about mention file? Ciao. When I tell you every card I got as I shuffled for you, flipped out, reversed, that's a lot. I have 3 of the 4 aces out here. I'm missing the Ace of Cups. Oh my God. They'll let up when you let go. You're not healing. You're dwelling. You're literally ruminating. You are in your fucking head, like, all the time. Damn. Hey, Noble. Now, this is cards I pulled for Fly Like an Eagle jar. And the 3 cards that came out, I don't know who the hell that was for. I really don't. I'm like, ooh. Yeah, I get that, honey. I do. It's a cycle that just won't end. You got somebody who just genuinely likes tormenting you. Don't want nothing. They don't. He don't want nothing. He just want to mess with you. Just don't want you to move on. Who is that? Mm-mm. Um, I don't want to put all this out here. I almost want to email you about this. Sorry about that. Call came through. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. He's a real prick, honey. Like a real prick. Like, he legit just likes fucking with you. Like, I don't know what his angle is, but this is literally just torment. Like, he literally doesn't want anything. He doesn't want sex. He doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to do anything. Like, he just likes to mess with you. This is your culprit. Yeah. Honestly, love, you should be burning a white candle, a protection one on you, and maybe even a send back. Because this guy, is like, this is nasty. Like, legit nasty. Hold on. Can I get something simplified? That was a lot. Has he been trying to communicate with you? Like, reach it, like, really? That's so funny. That's really funny. That those three cards were really funny. That was. Can we get out of my business, please? Thank you. No, I never mind. As soon as never mind. Never mind. You didn't hear me. So I said, can we get out of my business? That was the person who just tried to call me. I have to call them back in a minute. That's wild. It's telling me that I need to reach out. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. My cards have just hijacked my life. I love y'all. I gotta go. I gotta return this phone call. Yeah, I'll be back on another night. Light and love. Bye.